Gabriel, good to see you again, man. Welcome back to Popternative.
Thanks, brother. Good to see you too.
You know, it's interesting, right? Because I always love that script to screen journey because at some point you get this script and then you're gonna go to production and everything comes to life. And I feel like with the astronaut, we have a three-headed monster because it's got the sci-fi, the thriller, and the horror aspect of it. What was it like kind of reading all those elements in the script and then see it come to life when you went to start filming this movie?
Yeah. I met with Jess Varley a couple months. I guess I just wrapped the first season of The Last of Us.
Mhm.
And we I believe that was to be the case. I'm trying to get my timelines right. But we were here in LA and uh my manager called and said that the script had come across and really great young writer director and we'd like to meet. And so we sat down. I read the script and I loved all those elements that you just rattled off. It was, and then of course just the way that we kind of subvert all that. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah. What's it like
yeah,
working in that kind of world of like spooky kind of content and horror films and everything at a time where everything is so elevated and everything is so like heightened? Like it's crazy.
yeah.
Like it's a great time for that stuff right now.
I think so, and I think, but what I loved about it is how kind of nailed down it was as far as my part of the story. I just think there's so much of it that's just so just human and ordinary. Just a man who loves his wife and loves his child and has an adopted child. His wife is adopted herself, and just what that kind of family. Very interesting family dynamic and family structure of this film really drove me to it as well. Uh,
I'm wondering, like, was this like your first time really diving into something with space? Like you've done films in the past that have had those elements here
oh
and there,
yeah,
but was this the first time where you really dove in to that world?
yeah.
Would you say?
Well, I mean, well, no, I just think that it was, that the world of it and her job and her pursuits and her, her destiny and her ambition, all that is out there.
Yeah.
But so much of this was just about being what she relies on at home,
Hmm.
what she left behind,
Yeah.
feeling behind, um, but also just being that, just being the reason why why she does dream as hard as she does. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
so that really was as it was really more of an earthbound story,
Mhm.
and I was the stay on earth dad who's just trying to do his job.
I guess this next question, I think about a lot of these things because I'm also I'm a filmmaker as well, and I find it
Yeah,
interesting because you know there's so many ways we watch content, right? There's of course for films, there's the film festivals, then there's the theatrical release, the streaming, right, and there's series that you just binge all at once, like Fubar on Netflix, and then there's the week to week kind of drops of shows like The Last of Us. Do you ever think about how people are going to be consuming and watching the stuff you're making while you're making it at all? Because I find that very
yeah.
interesting. Does that ever come to play?
Yeah, I can't say that I do. I think the process is what it is. You're making the movie and you are present every moment, moment to moment. And what happens on the day they call wrap for me beyond that is of course, if I have some other type of if I'm working on the film in another capacity, then maybe there is a life to it after that. But for me, it's just my job is done, and I just hope that it finds them somehow. I don't think I'm particular about how they find it,
Yeah.
and then once they do, if it's good enough, they'll take it with them, and so I think that's just kind of where I land on that. But yeah, it is a curious world and kind of an
Mhm.
interesting question.
Yeah.
Like this one, that we'll do a few theaters and but we'll also be in people's homes immediately if they want to watch it, and that's just fantastic. So, however they find it, I hope they find it and take it with them.
And you were consistently in people's homes week to week with The Last of Us. But I wanted to ask you, you can even talk about this with the astronaut, but like while you do those big scenes, because like Tommy had a lot of really big scenes in The Last of Us, and my filmmaking hat was like, we see 6 minutes of this conversation, but it's like they must have taken like a week to film that scene. When those big scenes happen on movies or TV shows, do they feel like their own mini movie or mini show? or does
Oh
it
yeah.
overall feel like part of The Last of Us? I'm curious about that.
No, that's a good point. That's a good question. Yeah, no, I mean, it's a reference, I guess, the second episode of this last season, um, when there's an invasion of Jackson, and we have to fend off the invasion. That one took like a month and a half, I think, or at least a month. I think we did 2.5 weeks. We're shooting that scene for about 2.5 weeks, and then we shot an additional week in July, and then another couple of days of pickup. So ultimately, that one kind of sequence
Yeah.
was like a month of shooting. I mean, or the episode, I guess, as a whole was probably that. But no, I think it was just that stuff. Because then, they so yeah, so that was yeah. And I remember when I did Terminator, we did the whole like, the whole highway chase was a 2-week shoot plus another additional week on second unit doing stunts and driving and everything else. So um yeah, no, it's they do end up taking on their own production.
Absolutely. And I can't wait for people to check out The Astronaut. Like I said, you're going to be able to see it in theaters, which is great. Gabriel, it's an honor and privilege to speak with you, man. Thanks so
Oh,
much for your
dude,
time.
thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Thanks so much.
Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.